Our next guest knows quite a bit about Iran. He spent his teenage years there. His father was stationed there, and he was in Tehran when the Shah fell in 1979. Vice Admiral Robert Harward, the former Deputy Commander of U.S. Central Command and member of the Iran Policy Project at the Jewish Institute for National Security. Great to have you back, Admiral. What are the Iranians doing with these military drills in the Strait of Hormuz today?
Illustrating the impact they can have on shipping and others, reinforcing the risk to this scenario should President Trump decide to strike. So I think they're trying to enhance their bargaining position in the negotiations.
Yeah, 20% of the world's oil and gas passes through the Strait of Hormuz. It would mean more expensive oil and gas everywhere, right?
That's correct, Elizabeth. And the risks are tremendous on both sides of the table. This is somewhat of an existential threat to the Iranians. What would a strike do? Would it galvanize the people? Would that be a tipping point? While at the same time, for the United States, shutting down the Gulf, risking missile strikes against other Gulf countries are the risks that both of them face when they go into these negotiations.
Yeah, President Trump has amassed an armada of American battleships and carriers in the area. One analyst called it bluster without leverage on the part of the Iranians by staging these military exercises.
That's exactly right. They've done this before. It's very tactical at stake, and where their real operational and strategic risks are from their missiles. And so, again, I think the U.S. president's in a very strong position to get what he's looking at. The question is there end up just being about the nuclear material and the capabilities, or will it extend it to deal with the strategic and short-range and long-range missiles, much less the Iranian continued support of surrogates who threaten us and our allies in the region. So there's a lot on the table here, Elizabeth.
There's a lot on the table, but the Iranians have said we're only going to talk about nuclear programs here, and they continue to say we're not going to give up our nukes. So are they saying something different privately?
Well, I think that at least in this point, the prime minister said we're willing to negotiate. So they've given an inch or two. How far they're willing to go is at risk. And again, as we've seen in other countries who gave up their nuclear programs, like Libya, it became an existential threat. So again, they're at the weakest positions they've been at long, with their air defenses neutered, the people out on the street. So this is an existential threat, and the more they give, the more it can be a threat to them. So they've got a real dilemma on their hands, and I hope the administration leverages that to get the things that will endure long-term peace in the region.
We know that the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, had been urging a couple of months ago, slow your roll, get more assets in the region before you make any move militarily. Obviously, Israel would be involved either because in a strike or because they would be getting retaliatory strikes from Iran. We now have that military presence. And Benjamin Netanyahu was just in the White House. He does not think we should have another deal with Iran. And President Trump spent a lot of time and energy criticizing the deal with Iran that President Obama came up with. Given the fact that the regime is so weak, is this a time for regime change, as President Trump was saying on Friday?
I believe so, and I hope so, actually. Look, they've murdered thousands of people, and I hear from people in Iran and all the expatriate Iranians. It's time for this regime to go. They have too much blood on their hands. And another component of Netanyahu, as we've seen with cell phones and nuclear scientists, they have a reach and touch inside the country. So some of this may not have been just positioning naval assets who can defend against missiles attack and conduct strikes. It may have been posturing to ensure inside the country we've leveraged those contacts that the Israelis to provide support should one of these strikes occur and help accelerate the threat on the ground in Iran. So I hope that's all being synchronized, and that creates real opportunities here to ensure we get regime change.
President Trump had urged protesters to take to the streets and threatened the Iranian regime that he would use military strikes if they didn't stop killing protesters. We had the Iranian crown prince say over the weekend the killing is continuing right up until now. Like, this is still happening. They're still slaughtering protesters. Does President Trump risk looking like President Obama did when he drew a red line with Syria and said no chemical weapons? Syria used them, and he didn't do anything about it. If President Trump has said, you better stop killing these protesters, and Iran keeps doing it, according to people inside the country, right up until today, does he risk being seen as another president who drew a red line and then did nothing?
Well, we're playing high-stakes poker here, and so far this president has done everything he'd say he was doing. Venezuela is a perfect example. The first strikes on Iran in support of Israel to take out the nuclear facilities. So that's something the Iranians have to deal with. I sure wouldn't want to bet against him at this point.
Okay. Admiral Robert Harward, always fascinating to talk to you. Thank you. Really appreciate it.